here we go with the very last bit of Book 10 of Alexander. Et non alias, and so not otherwise or in another place, quam, then region Mesopotamia. In the region of Mesopotamia, is there a fervidio aestus, which is the fourth declension, a more burning heat. And so this alias must be, and so not in any other place than in the region of Mesopotamia. Is there a more fervidio burning heat? Existed, well, it exists. Adiaut, we've got the correlatives together. To such an extent then, plerically, which means most of, in Amalia, this is one of the neuter thirds. They end in AL, and also you get them in E, these I stems. In most animals, to such an extent, quae, which in nudo solo, which on the bare soil, on the bare ground, are deprehended, which are grabbed basically, or seized in this fervid heat, and they extinguate, they die. Tantus est vapor. Basically means such is the vapor, which can be mist, probably means heat. Solus in Kali, which is of the ground and the heavens, sometimes the climate. So such is the heat of the soil and the heavens, quo, by which cuncta everything female, velut igni, as if by fire is torrented, which is toasted. Okay, so that's tantus est. That's how great the heat is. Fonts aquarum, so springs of water, et also rarei sunt, a rare, and fraudente, by fraud or deceit, calorento, they are hidden in colentes, these are the inhabitants. By the trickiness or deception of the inhabitants, it is hidden. Ipsis usus patet, so usus usually takes the ablative, so it is open for use to them themselves, the ipsis, but it is ignotus est, it's unknown to the advenas. This is like poeta, it's a first declension word for a foreigner, and plural is is. Traditum magus quam creditum refero, so I refer to what is handed down, traditum, more than, magus quam than creditum, what is believed. Ut, so that, tandem, at last, the adverb, carare, to care for, the corpus ex inimum, so the body of the dead, or the dead body, vacavit, there's vacant time or spare time to care for this body of the dead. Sometimes ex animum is used for unconscious. This is for his friends or to his friends there was spare time. Nulla tabe, there'd be no wasting away of the body. Ne minimo quidem, so ne quidem, not even. Minimo livore, least corruption. Livore can mean envy and stuff. It also can mean turning a blue colour. So, videre qui intraverent. So those who had entered, it saw that there would not even be any corruption of the body. It hadn't wasted away, and there was least blue colouring on it. Okay, vigor quoque. So the vigor also, qui which constat, sometimes it's impersonal, well, I don't think this is, from the spiritu, which stands from the spirit, ad nondum, which means not yet, destitiverd, not yet deserted from the vultum. This isn't in the ablative, it's still in the accusative. So not less left the face. So the vigor which comes from spiritu, comes from life basically, it was still standing and had not yet left the face. And I've set up a daily dictionary of livor. This is gender masculine, third declension. Envy and spite, which is what it's usually used as. Top 20,000 words. It's probably better than that. I'm sure it's on my 6,000 word list or so. It's also a bluish discoloration produced by bruising, etc. But the guy's dead. Okay, where the hell were we? Up here somewhere, there we are. Itaque, and so. Egypti Chalderique Usai. Yeah, so this is past passive plural. So these guys have been ordered, the Egyptians and Chaldeans. I think they're some sort of people who look at the sky a lot, and they're well known for their astrology. The corpus sua more in their own custom. They were ordered to care for the corpus, which is a neuter accusative. Primo, in the first place, non sunt orse. They had not dared, again we see the I of plural, to have moved velut speranti manus. So they hadn't moved the hand. This looks dative present participle, as if it was to a breathing person. So the Egyptians and Chaldeans had been ordered to care for the body in the first place, not dared to move their hands to it as if it was, add their means to it, as if it was a breathing person. Deinde. Then, prekatai, we have the T of the past passive there. The plural people in the past passive, having prayed, ut, so that the jus fasqui esset mutalibus, so that the rights and faz is more of a divine sort of approval. So it'll be right and lawful in the eyes of them for the mortalibus, for plural, for mortals to attractere a deum, to handle a god. They purgaverented in the shortened form, doesn't have the NT, but they purged the corpus. So since they're Egyptians, they take all the entrails out and put them in jars usually or something. And repletum est with odoribus. So, and they filled something up with odors, which is incense and frankincense. Here's what they repletum. Repletum aureum solium. Not a golden bathtub, it's a golden coffin. And capitae adjecta fortuna eos insignia. So here's his insignia of, since it was Alexander, he'd probably have lots of royal insignia that he's got over the years. So the insignia of his fortune, of his fate, of his position in life was ejected, so it was added capiti to his head, so it's probably a crown or something. Veneno necatum esse credere pleriqui. So these are the people doing it. This means many people, they've credere, they've believed, taking the infinitive orata obliqua, they believed necatum esse, that he had been killed by this ablative venom, which is poison. A filium Antipatri, son of Antipater, inter ministros, amongst the administrators or those ministering to him, nomine Iolus, or Iolam, by the name of Iolus, by order, Yusu, of the father, of his father, and his father's here, Antipater, had dedisse, he had given this venom, this poison, and pleriqui people were crederating this, they were believing this. Saipi, often, certe, certainly, we've got two adverbs. Audita erat the vox, vox is female, so the voice of Alexander, genitive, erat audita, had been heard, was heard, and I'm guessing this is reported speech. Antipatrum, Antipater, was adfectaring to the fastigium regium. He had like expectations or desires going to the fastigium, which is the peak of royal power, the regium. Maiorum qui esse, and more than that should go to a prefect. So had more advectations or had more desires than what a prefect. And opus and titulo, which is his resources and the title in the dative or ablative, inflatum. So Antipatrum was inflatumed. He was blown up, had a head swell by the resources and the title of his Spartan victory. He must have fought the Spartans. Omnia a se data, so everything it's been given to him. A se, he was asserting ad serentem, which is present participle, sibi for himself. So everything Alexander had given him, basically, he was asserting was his own. So he was stepping over the role of what a prefect or someone lower down the rung should be doing. Crediband, so they're still crediting, they were crediteering up here, now they're credibanding. They were believing etiam even that Craterus, cum veterum militum manu, with a veteran handful of soldiers, this one in the middle is the genitive, here's the purpose, using a gerund, to the killing eum, missum was sent. So they believe that Craterum was missum. He was sent with a veteran handful of soldiers to kill Eom. Here would be Alexander. Vim Autem Veneni. I think we have Vim in English, the Vim, the force. So Autem, however, or moreover, the force of the poison. If it's a neuter, this would be which. Is Gignaturd, which is born in Macedonia, or comes from Macedonia. Talem esse constat, so it's agreed, it stands that it is such. Talem means such. Ut ferrum, that iron, quoque also exurat, so it burns iron also. Ungulum Eumentai are beast of burden. So an ungulum is the hoof of a beast of burden. Dum taxit sometimes means merely or provided or only this. Patentium constat suce. So it can stand this, or it's agreed that this suce, the juices of this poison, only the hoof of a beast animal can patientium, can suffer the this, because it burns iron. Have we done a daily dictionary? I might set that up. Okay, we've already had our daily dictionary word. It was livor. So stigum appellat de fontem. So the spring they call the Styx, which is like the underworld or something. Excro, from which this pestiferum virus emanates, soaks out from. Pestiferum, it's broke down the pestilence in that bit, and ferrum means bearing it or carrying it. So it's a pestiferum. It's an adjective for the virus, the poison. So hoc per Cassandrum. So hoc could be this pestiferum virus was this was brought in adlatum, means carried to, and traditum, handed. We have a dative of the first and a dative of the second. To his brother, double dative, Iolio, who was Iollas in English, I believe. Et ab eo, by him, was inditum, put into the suprema potion, which is the last drink. We'll get potion probably from drink in English, of the king, genitive. I'll scroll a bit. This is the end of the book. So, Hake, these things which are credibanted, these things which are believed, ut cumque sunt credita. Ut cumque just means however so far, or however much. It's usually directional as to how far you're going to go, as to how far this is credited or believed. Eorum, of these, quos rumor aspersit. Aspersit usually means sprayed out or sprinkled. So as far as these rumors had gone out, to as far as they were believed, mox soon, the potentia, the power of them, was extinxit. It went out, stopped. The regnum enim Macedonia. For the kingdom of Macedonia relates to Antipa. He was the guy we were talking about earlier. Antipa, he invades it, so he grabbed hold of the kingdom of Macedonia and quoque also Grecium, which is Greece. His subols, Deinde then, he's looks like his son. Ex capit, he received this or took this. Interfectus omnibus, ablative absolute, with everyone dead. Qui cumque, whoever these may be. Alexandra etiam longa cognation contigeret. So whoever happened to be a cognate, someone who's related to Alexander by blood, even the longinaqua ones, even far away by blood. Anyone who was related to Alexander, they were all interfected. They were all killed. Ceterum, but corpus eus, his body, a Ptolemy by Ptolemy, to who Egypt had ceded, cesarated, Memphis, Greek accusative, to Memphis and Inde, and then Porcus Postanus. After a few years, the post is in the middle. They were his corpus was translatum, was taken to or translated to Alexandria. After a few years, it went first to Memphis. And omnisque memoria ec nomine honos. So omnisque means all the honours were habited. They were held of his memory and in his name and of his name. The end of the book.